この美しい世界が見えますか？でもこれは仮初めの姿。そう、ここは滅びゆく世界なのです。どうか皆さん、私の世界を助けてください。力を。
離れマテリア。ここは俺の世界だ。さあお前たち、滅びゆく我が世界のために戦え。
光は我らと共にある。俺自身で決着をつけさせてくれ。
みんなでかかれば一瞬だよね。
どんな試練も乗り越えてみせる。行くぞ、風の赴くままに。
未来のために戦う。
星よ、答えを見せろ。俺のそばから離れるな。
誰かを助けるのに理由がいるかい？
すぐに終わらせてやるからな。
出会ったことを後悔させてあげますわ。
これは俺の仕事だ。やるしかなければやるだけだ。行くわよ、集中なさい。
私の記憶に残る戦士の姿。
かつて俺に捧げられた戦士の力、共に自由に使うがよい。
さあ私の世界へ。
For a few years, fighting game fans have been waiting for Square Enix to bring the arcade action of Dissidia Final Fantasy into homes, and that time is almost here. The newly announced Dissidia Final Fantasy NT has insane 3 vs 3 battles, and we've got an exclusive look. Here to explain it all is Matt Kishimoto, Senior Product Marketing Manager. Matt, welcome to the IGN stage.
Thanks for having me.
So, give us a little background here. Dissidia is the fighting game Final Fantasy fighting game series, right?
Correct. Yeah. So there's been 2 that have been released. The first one came out in 2009, and then the second one came out in 2011, both for PSP.
Right.
And then now this one, it's been in arcades in Japan for a few years now, and then now it's coming to the US for PS4.
So this is the arcade version that's coming home to home consoles, and the first time the game has been available on home consoles here in the West. Is that right?
That's correct.
So can we expect anything new?
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of new features that are going to be available for the home console version. We're not ready to talk about all the new features.
Not going to lay it all out
quite
today
yet. But I think the exciting thing right now is the fact that it's coming stateside.
Yeah, and I know you've brought some footage here to show us today.
Yeah.
Do you know what we're going to see first?
Yeah, so we brought about 4 clips today.
Okay.
The first clip is just a general battle stage.
Okay.
So what we wanted to kind of show you guys is exactly kind of how the combat works. And so for those who might be familiar with just the PSP version or not familiar at all, just kind of walk through like the 101 of it all.
All right, so yeah, break us down how this game works. 3 on 3, does that mean it's 6 players?
It's 6 players.
Okay.
So it's not you controlling 3 characters, it's you and 2 other buddies going against 3 people.
What if you're just playing by yourself?
So there will be an offline mode
Okay.
That you can play by yourself that'll have 5 CPUs. But it's probably the most fun to play with a total of 6
Yeah,
people.
that's what it's designed for.
Yeah.
So you pick your fighters, you and your teammates pick your fighters, the opponents pick your fighters, and then you battle it out. What, you're just trying to whittle everyone's health down?
Yeah, so I mean you start, I mean you can see on screen right now, it's Tidus from Final Fantasy X, tons of different Final Fantasy characters. But it's not quite as simple as kind of button mashing and just kind of taking away health from the other guy. So what you have to do is really figure out how to use the bravery combat system, and that's what's unique to Dissidia in and of itself. So the bravery combat system, the way it works is you use X and then kind of different button combinations with that and modifiers. And then basically once you build enough bravery points, and the bravery points you can see in the lower middle, where it says 1,000 on the screen.
Okay.
Once you build up enough of that, then you unleash HP attacks. And the HP attacks are what takes away opponent's HP.
Okay.
And so the ultimate goal is just to defeat the opposing squad 3 times. So you can defeat the same guy 3 times, or defeat 1-1-1.
I see. Talk about the crystal here.
Ooh, yeah. It's not a Final Fantasy without
Yeah,
crystals,
no, exactly.
right?
Yeah, it's a key component.
So that's a summoning core. Okay. And so the way that works in this game is you can destroy it, and then that will fill up your summoning gauge faster. And so once you fill up your summoning gauge, see in the middle how you're calling in your summon?
Yeah.
Now you can call in the iconic and legendary summons like Shiva and Ifrit and Odin and Bahamut, things like that.
So like this summon animation, are all players seeing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That affects everyone. And then talk about the arched line that's connecting you to other players. Is that who you're targeting?
Kinda not really. So the arc line is actually who's targeting you. So if the line is blue, then that means somebody's targeting you. But if the line turns red, then that means they're attacking you. So you can either block or start kind of dodging.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said there are online battles here.
There are online battles.
And voice chat? So you can communicate,
yeah, voice chat,
communicating with
yeah.
your teammates there. So what are some different strategies that you find people using?
So there's a lot of kind of different strategies you can do. You can kind of divide and conquer.
Sure.
There's 4 different classes actually. There's Vanguard, Assassin, Marksman, and Specialist, and kind of each are fit to play your own style.
I see.
You know, kind of like how different MOBAs or other kind of like team-based kind of shooters have kind of categories.
Sure.
So it's kind of fit for however you want to play.
Sure.
But yeah, that was the first battle. But we brought one more that's a little bit different.
Okay, yeah, well, they're going to load that up here. You're also working with Team Ninja on this one, is that right?
Yeah,
so
Team
tell
Ninja
us-
from Koei Tecmo.
Okay, and obviously they have a lot of experience with combat in video games. So
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's really a joint collaboration between Team Ninja and the Square Enix team. But yeah, they're really a great partner to work with. But I mean, with their credibility with the Dead or Alive franchise
Sure.
and the recently launched Neo. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they bring a lot more kind of credibility into the fighting game space.
So what's the environment we're seeing here?
So we are on the battle stage of Cornelia from Final Fantasy 1. And so the main player is playing as Warrior of Light from Final Fantasy 1.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
to see
yeah,
this
yeah.
rendered in full 3D.
Rather than the 8-bit
Yeah, exactly.
little guy.
So I know you're not talking about all the full character roster and the environments, but the whole idea of the game is you're pulling in characters from all of Final Fantasy's history, right? And maps and environments, right?
Yeah, and that's the exciting thing. So we have characters all the way from Final Fantasy 1 to Final Fantasy 14, and stages kind of from across the legacy as well. But some other things kind of on the UI and HUD that you can kind of take note of. So in the lower left, there's like 3 kind of circles that you see. So what those are your EX skills. And so you can equip different EX skills based on your playstyle, whether they're like regenerative or they provide attack boosts or things like that. So that kind of modifies your kind of gameplay style.
I see.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us about how you go about choosing the characters? Do you try to pick fan favorites? You try to find some lesser-known characters that you think would be really cool in the game?
Yeah. So again, I think it really fits your gameplay style on kind of who you want to choose. I think you can choose either your favorite character or one that kind of plays a little bit more like yourself, like kind of assassins.
But I was meaning more like, how do you choose characters to be in the game, to include in the game? You're looking at all of Final Fantasy's history, you say like, okay, I think I'll pick this guy, this girl.
Yeah, so I can't really kind of go into too much detail on why certain characters were included or why certain characters were excluded. I think, at least for now, there's characters from 1 all the way until 14, and there's at least 1 representative from each. How that specific character came about, I think that's a much longer story, of which, unfortunately, I'm not able to go into
I understand.
right now. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You know, you don't apologize to me. Apologize to them.
I know.
Out there.
Sorry, guys.
No, it's
Sorry.
okay. You mentioned those 4 classes, right?
Yeah.
And so are the characters divided up between those 4 classes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the second of the 4 clips we brought through today. The next 2 will kind of go into kind of the different classes and kind of how they play and stuff like that.
All right, we can save that for then.
Yeah.
If a viewer out there has played the arcade game, are they going to feel right at home here? Are they going to recognize this?
They're going to feel
familiar?
at home. I think some of the button prompts are going to feel a little bit different.
Sure.
So in Japan, it's on an arcade cabinet, so the button prompts are a little bit different, whereas these ones kind of have the standard PlayStation 4 square, triangle, circle.
I see.
Yeah.
How much content would you say is new from the arcade game, or has been added?
It's hard to say, kind of
Hard to
percentage-wise,
quantify,
but I would say there is going to be different content that's coming out for
Okay.
the PS4 version.
What about people that played the PSP game?
Ooh.
Is this still going to feel familiar to them?
I think what people will recognize immediately is, of course, the Final Fantasy characters and the Bravery combat system.
Okay.
But everything else will feel very, very different. So what we were looking to do was really compare like apples to apples on kind of what's the same and what's different in the PSP version, and it's so different. Certain things are going to feel familiar, like the Final Fantasy characters and the Bravery combat, but so many things are going to feel different.
Sure.
And I think the main thing that you're going to immediately recognize is the 3 versus 3 combat.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, bringing the game to PlayStation 4 opens it up to a whole new audience that maybe never played Dissidia before. So what would you say is the best way to approach this game for them? People that never played Dissidia before.
I'd say grab your buddies and just jump in.
Is there a good character to start with? Who's the best character? Like,
so I think one of the easiest characters to kind of jump in and play as is actually Cloud Strife.
Sure.
And that's the first clip we brought today.
Yeah. Okay. Is that what we're bringing up next? Is that that's
what we got.
That was good timing.
Good timing. So what we did is we actually simplified down the screen so you can kind of see a little bit more about Cloud Strife. And this is actually the first time we're ever debuting a really in-depth look.
Okay. At Cloud.
Yeah.
But I see he's still called Nameless Soldier here.
That's
Seems
where
like
the PSN ID would go.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I remember all of the characters here are, Nameless Boy, Nameless Idealist over there. Yeah, okay, so
Yeah.
those are going to be your PSN names.
Yeah.
All right, so how does Cloud play?
So Cloud is a Vanguard class, and the reason why he's one of the more straightforward characters to play is there's not a lot of tricky things to do, and I'll explain why that is when we show the next character.
Okay.
So his moveset is pretty straightforward and it's pretty easy to master. What we're showing is kind of his full range of moveset. And this is the next character. This is what I want to show you
This
guys.
is Lightning.
This is Lightning from
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah.
So for those who have played Final Fantasy 13, people will remember the paradigm shift.
Sure.
So one of the really, really cool things about Dissidia is they're taking certain elements from the original games into this. So if you look right where it says 3616, and right to the left of it, it says Rav. So basically that's taking from the paradigm shift system in Final Fantasy 13, and you can switch between Commando and Ravager.
I see.
And they brought that back into this game. So basically she has 2 full different move sets. So the Commando set, if people remember from Final Fantasy 13, it's a little bit more melee, it's a little bit more combat focused, and then the Ravager is a little bit more magic and a little bit more range focused.
Sure.
So it's pretty cool, and that's why Lightning becomes a little bit more of a challenging character to play as.
I see.
Because it's 2 completely different movesets.
Yeah.
To kind of master and figure out.
It starts to give you a look at the depth of combat that's available here.
Yeah,
in this game.
absolutely.
So you were mentioning earlier that if you're playing solo, there's a single player mode. So
Yeah.
that means that if you're playing online, you have to have 3 players.
Or it'll auto match you.
The
with
auto
people.
match, yeah. I wondered if you could speak to the online system, like how it works finding games, matchmaking.
We're not quite ready to go into exactly all of the different kind of gameplay modes.
Okay.
I wish I could go into every single one. But
The game is just announced, so I understand you have to hold some stuff back for later. Who are we seeing here? Who is Cloud facing against?
So we wanted to bring a different look at Cloud. So this is his outfit from Final Fantasy VII Advent Children.
Cool.
Have you seen it? The movie
It's
back in
been
the
a
day?
while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
But what's cool, the reason why we wanted to bring this through is we wanted to show that there are different outfits and different weapons and stuff like that.
Are these just cosmetic? Just like, are they stuff that you unlock as you play the game and they just change the way your character looks?
Yeah, they're just cosmetic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. All right, so what's this environment we're fighting in now?
So we are in Midgar from Final Fantasy VII.
Right.
So one of the cool things is every map's a little bit different. So this one has a little bit of verticality. You can kind of see the different platforms and stuff like that. One thing, I don't know if you noticed it, but there is a finite arena that you fight in. And so you can actually pin characters against the wall.
Okay.
And then do a quick juggle.
Interesting.
So certain characters, depending on the class, see he got pinned right there. Certain characters can kind of pin and then do another juggle after that.
Are the environments reactive or destructible? Can you use the environments as a tactic at all?
You can, they can be very strategic in terms of the verticality, because some will be very flat, so you can't really hide anywhere. But something like this, you can kind of hide behind barriers and then kind of hop over and then do quick sneak attacks. Especially with the 3-on-3, you just always have to watch your back and see who's targeting you.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it gets wild.
But it looks like this is one-on-one. Is this just for demo purposes?
This is just for demo purposes.
Okay,
This is just what we brought for you guys today.
Okay, well, this is something very special then.
Yeah, just for you guys.
Yeah.
For you guys.
So we have one more clip after this.
Yeah.
Right? And what are we going to be looking at there?
So this one, so what we did is we brought 2 clips of Cloud in the different outfits, and then we brought 2 clips of Lightning in different outfits.
Okay.
So for Final Fantasy 13 fans out there, this is her outfit from Final Fantasy 13-2. Yeah.
And I can predict what your answer is going to be, but all these customization options, are they included in the game, or is this stuff that's going to be added later on after release?
It's going to be added into the game, and then we haven't really discussed our post-launch activities quite yet, but soon.
Please look forward
Soon.
to learning more. I think this is really cool. This is finally coming. It's coming to a home console. Because I actually, I've been a long time Final Fantasy fan, but I never played Dissidia on PSP.
Yeah.
So this seems really cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be one of the really exciting things is network connectivity is a very different thing than it was on PSP, and now it is on PS4. And so it'll be interesting to see kind of like how matches get done and all sorts of different capabilities we have now. So that's going to be really exciting to see in the...
I have to ask if, along with all the characters that are included, are there any monsters from the Final Fantasy universe you can play and fight as? You don't need to reveal specific ones.
What we have is just the characters.
Just like, okay. Got it.
But, I mean, right now I believe we have 6 summons.
Okay.
That you've seen, and then each one of the summons has a completely different ability of how they can completely destroy the environment.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, for me personally, I like always trying to select Ramu, the lightning god, because his AoE attack just kind of spreads across the entire arena.
And does each player get to choose their own summon?
It's
or is it based on classes?
It's actually when you're selecting your characters, and then after that, your team can select the summon. So if 2 of the 3 people select the same summon, then it's going to be that one. But if everybody selects different summons, then it's randomized.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So you have to strategize with your teammates. So it's more fun if you play with your friends, because you guys can kind of talk and be like, let's get this one because this suits our play style better. But of course, if you play with random people online, then
yeah, that's true. So Dissidia Final Fantasy NT.
Yes, sir.
What does the NT stand for?
The NT stands for New Tale. And so what that means is the PSP games, they had their own story, their own universe.
Yeah.
And while this carries over into the same universe, it's a completely new tale.
Okay. And you mentioned a single player mode. Is there actually like a story mode or a campaign that you play through?
Yeah, there is, but I think that's about all that we're able to kind of discuss in terms of, the offline single player mode.
Yeah, I know. Like the game was just announced last week, I think.
Yeah.
It's coming
7th.
early 2018.
Early 2018, PlayStation 4 exclusive.
Okay, can you let us know when we could look forward to learning more about Dissidia Final Fantasy NT?
There will be lots of coverage at E3 this upcoming week. When the next big reveal is going to be, or next big thing, I can't quite say that quite
later
yet.
on.
I'm sorry.
Some point in the future. Well, thank you so much for coming by the show.
Yeah.
That's really cool. As always, for all the latest E3 news, exclusive interviews, demos, and much more, head over to IGN.com/E3. Stay with us. IGN Live continues in just a second.